Hello and welcome to another episode of That's Absurd, Please Elaborate. This is a podcast, so you're welcome. And I'm happy you're here. It's audio only, so I think you'll enjoy it.
People can't see it, but Trace is doing like a little, like he's swinging his arms below his chest back and forth like he's a miner on his way to work.
Dun, 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 dun.
Hi-ho. Off to the podcast mines.
Yep, gotta mine some gems for this podcast.
I will dig some opinions and sell
science.
them at the podcast market to feed my family. It ain't much, but it's honest work.
Is it honest, though?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
someone's got to do it. No one has to do this.
No one has to do it, but we choose
has to make a podcast.
And I have yet to find a gem in this mine other than my co-host, Julian Fugit.
Aww, shucks.
And I am Trace Dominguez. We are science communicators, and we make this show where we answer questions that you, the listeners, send us about, well, anything, really. This episode, we've got 2 questions from our listeners, and I want to say just right here at the top, thank you for sending in your questions, everyone. We really appreciate it. We couldn't do this show without it. If you want to send in a question, go down into the show notes. You can click on the thingy, and then you can send us your question. If you have a ridiculous question, we can try and answer it with some science, and we would love to. If you haven't joined our Patreon, or if you like the show and want to join the Patreon, you can do that also in the show notes. Otherwise, tell your friends about the show, because that's the best way to grow the show is word of mouth. Podcasts, tough to spread, tough to grow. We need a bigger mine.
The mines ain't what they used to be. Now there's a lot of podcast mines.
We got to yield big
competing with a lot of miners.
gems, coal. Oh, not coal. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we're sorry for this intro, as we always are.
I think podcasts have a net effect on the world about the same as coal.
I would hope that we're better.
But we're a clean coal podcast.
Oh, God. Clean coal. That's not even a real thing.
Not a thing.
Branding.
Not a real thing.
Anyway, Julian is first here with our first question from our first listener of this first podcast of the day that hopefully you're listening to. Julian, what's your question?
So my question comes from Adam, who is a longtime listener and a patron over on the Patreon. And the question was selected by his fellow patrons. So I didn't play favoritism. Thought it was a good one. His other peers on the Patreon decided this one was worthy of answering this week. And it is, how much wind energy was the big bad wolf able to generate in the 3 Little Pigs?
Ooh.
Isn't that a good one?
I mean, as a man with a kid, yes, he loves the Big Bad Wolf story. So,
right?
Yeah, that's a really good one.
As an adult, though, just like having seen, like hurricanes and tornadoes and what they can do, and then try and relate that to like a wolf.
Like, a big bad. Don't forget, the wolf is both big and bad.
And bad. Very unfortunate naming from the Big Bad Wolf's parents.
Well,
I assume.
Yeah.
It's kind of pigeonholing.
We shall
child's
call
destiny
him
there.
Big. Middle name Bad.
I don't want the other kids to pick on him. All right.
That way he'll know.
They'll know who's the
They'll
big
all
bad
know.
one. I'm just a big fan of alliteration. So, Adam elaborates, in the 3 Little Pigs, the big bad wolf huffs and puffs and is able to blow down 2 houses, one made of straw, one made of sticks. But the house made of bricks stayed up. So, how much wind energy is the big bad wolf generating that can blow down a straw and stick house, but not a brick house? What would be his rating on the hurricane scale? Can we name that Hurricane Wolf? Or maybe Hurricane Bad?
Hurricane Bad.
Hurricane Wolf people would take seriously.
I think so. Hurricane Lupus? Lupin?
Wait,
that's wrong.
The autoimmune disease.
Yeah, that's the autoimmune disease.
Okay. So, no, but have you seen how the statistic that, like, people don't take hurricanes with women's names seriously and they die more in them?
This is my surprised face.
It's not terribly surprised. Anyway, that's a thing that happens.
Yeah.
So you know. Okay.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about the 3 Little Pigs. See if we can suss out any clues from the story itself. As you mentioned, you have a child.
I do.
I presume you have read the 3 Little Pigs to Raph.
I have, yes. But I read it in Spanish because that's the only copy we had. And so I didn't quite understand all of it. My Spanish is not good.
Los tres pork chopos. I don't know what would pay a little.
So, but yes, I did read it to him in Spanish. And man, it's way more dramatic when you're reading it in Spanish.
The grande mal volpe.
I'm not even going to correct you. It's just going to be, this is going to be great.
Lobo. That's it in Spanish. Lobo.
There you go.
Okay.
Like Los
Volpe
Lobos.
is Latin. I'm getting all my languages confused.
Big Latin.
Okay. So, yes, it's a fairy tale. It is a type B124 fairy tale in the Thomson Motif Index.
Thank you for looking it up.
Remember that. So that'll save us some time talking about what it is. But it's a story that's, of course, about the value of work ethic, right? And how important it is to be ready for wolf-related disasters. And, of course, in proper building material choice during construction projects.
having a solid plan, a good construction foreman, using the correct materials, also return on investment. It's really an economics lesson.
It's true. These are the things that we're subtly teaching our children, in case it wasn't clear. Everything's got a whole agenda. When they're
don't be lazy.
Agenda out of your stories. It's all in there. It's don't be lazy and
purchase quality material.
Yes.
from a high quality tradesman. Who also happens to be a pig.
Yeah. Oh, I see. We're just benefiting the internal pig capitalist system. Okay. If you're a civil engineer and you're building in an area of high winds or high risk of high winds from, say, wolf activity, apparently loose straw and sticks is a poor choice. Now, of course, what the building's made of, that's just one small consideration when you're building a building. How it's made has a huge impact on its resistance to wind.
Like the television show How It's Made?
Yes, my favorite
favorite television show.
I used to watch that with a friend in college, and we would
still watch it. What are you talking about?
Did I ever tell you about our drinking game?
Yes, but please tell everyone else, because I've played this game and it's great.
It'll destroy you. Okay, so it's How It's Made.
Yeah.
All you do is take a drink every time the narrator says resin.
It'll really be. Don't.
One rule.
Just don't choose a boat episode minimum. If you choose a boat episode, it's over.
The kayak episode was carnage.
Sometimes you pick an episode and you're like, oh, this one's just about like trumpets or something. And all of a sudden it's like, they have to put a resin mold.
Bam.
And you're like, no!
Bam! Gotcha. You thought you were safe. Resin everywhere in making stuff. That's what I learned. Okay, so...
We modified your drinking game. I don't know if you remember this, but we modified it because sometimes if there's not a resin episode, then it doesn't say resin for like 20 minutes. And you're like, well, that's not a fun drinking game. So we made it where anytime they say a worker.
Oh, that's good.
Which they say a lot in handcrafted episodes, but not a lot in factory episodes. So sometimes they'll be like an artisan, a worker, and then they'll like jump around to different adjectives. Anyway. It's a good drinking game. You should try.
That's good. Okay, so there are two rules.
Two rules.
One is a contingency plan for a low resin episode. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, How It's Made, not the show, important also for its resistance to wind. Wind puts lateral loads on structures. So engineers have to analyze what those loads will be and how to transfer them through the building so the structure can take it. The American Society of Civil Engineers has a set of standards, ASCE 7, to help engineers accurately calculate wind loads. Most important aspect is going to be just how fast the wind is blowing where the building is. Right?
No.
And they have maps of the country, and it'll have like little regions and say, okay, if it's in this region, you can expect winds up to this speed, and in this region up to this speed, and so on and so forth. But of course, it gets more complicated based on the immediate surroundings of the building, right? There's also directionality. So that is more difficult for taller buildings, like where the wind is blowing from relative to the structure of the building. But if it's a low-rise structure, say like a hut made by a pig.
Sure. Pigs aren't that tall. Even bipedal pigs aren't that tall.
You can just have a directionality factor you can look up from a table. Already, by the way, I have put more effort into windproofing this hut than pigs 1 and 2. I just want to point that out. They're out there playing in a field, not learning the important lesson of this fairy tale that is to come. I'm over here in the ASCE 7 codes trying to figure this whole thing out.
They're probably thinking like, That's something like Pig 3 would do.
Yeah.
Pig 3.
That nerd. Pig 3 over there stacking bricks.
Yeah.
Okay. Engineers also have to factor in the terrain around the structure. If it's less obstructed, like in the middle of a field, then the wind's going to be stronger. I'm going to assume that the Three Little Pigs built in the middle of a wide open field in England, since it is a British fairy tale from 1890. So yeah, I'm going to assume wide open. They're not in the middle of the woods for that. You got to factor in elevation, because higher up, air is less dense, which means the wind has less mass.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know from the story where they are. It's not clear. I'm going to assume sea level to make things a little easier on the wolf. Also, whether or not the building is open or enclosed matters. We know that the pigs slam the door in the face of the big bad wolf, right? Because the wolf says, let me in, let me in. And they're like, not by the hairs on our chinny chin chin.
Chinny chin chin?
Right. So it's not just an open structure the wolf could walk into, or it would be a very short fairy tale.
Yeah.
So the hut's enclosed, and that's a good thing.
It's not like a lean-to.
I'm going to assume like a four-walled shack.
That seems right.
Right?
Yeah.
Also to make things easier for me, for reasons I'll get to in a second.
A nice straight wall, perpendicular to the ground.
Boy, that makes the math super easy than a conical lean-to structure.
As opposed to like maybe an igloo shape.
Yeah. Or like a Frank Gehry pig designing a really wavy stick
good
structure.
Thing pig number 2 is not super into like Swedish materials. And it's like, or whatever, Norwegian wood and pine. And it's like, I've burned the outside of it to make it black and it looks nice. And, I watch a lot of
the whole point of the story was they were lazy and doing the bare minimum, right? So I'm gonna
the pig minimum. They're doing the
pig minimum,
not the bear. There's no bears in this story, Julian. I'm not sure.
That's
if you're
the different three
or...
bears. You're right. That's story B176 in the. I don't know. I just made that up. Don't quote me that.
Watch out! The literature people are gonna show up.
Somebody's gonna go to the Thompson Motif Index looking for the Three Little Bears and be like, "That no, it's not." I don't know. Okay. The pigs have an enclosed structure. That's a good thing. Because when the wind's blowing on one side of a house, it's going to push that side inward. But that flexing is also going to make the roof of the structure push outward, and the leeward wall, the side not exposed to the wind, also push outward. If there's wind blowing in through an opening, that's going to actually get worse. You're going to have pressure from the inside pushing up on the roof and the back wall. So it's going to make the structure more likely to collapse.
Like a sail or a windsock.
Or have you ever heard the myth that like when a tornado comes to town, you should open the windows?
Yeah, I grew up in tornado country, and I remember hearing that myth because they're like, well, then the windows won't break.
Right, or the pressure will equalize, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I looked into that, and every source I could find on like tornado safety says, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Keep the wind out. And another example, we always talk about this, but the people who say build your house in Tornado Alley, they've got that map of wind speeds to expect where you are.
Good point.
They should be engineering to resist the wind. You shouldn't have to be like, I'll save the day and slide the window open. Like, no, that's not your job. Find somewhere safe.
I'm sorry, Julian, I think it sounds to me
Like
you're speaking against the American rugged individualism and instead implying that somehow we live in a society filled with experts.
Right, but like you may not know best, but somebody else like did, and that there are structures that are in place from years of like failure before, and people being like, wow, we should really have some experts to like make good decisions for us, the non-experts. Like we should kind of offload that work to them.
That'd be great.
And then they did that. If the system is working as intended, right?
We should do that in the future. That sounds like something we should start doing.
Yeah. And not just with like structural engineering or anything, but like, I don't know, like medicine?
Everything. Honestly,
like
everything. Medicine, maybe like car repair. I don't know. But cooking, I think I can do myself.
I just replaced the alternator in my car and I'm an idiot, so who knows?
Look, sometimes it's color-coded.
Yeah. There's a YouTube video on that.
Sometimes. Yeah. YouTube videos on engineering are fun. YouTube videos on car repair are fun too. Mm-hmm. Not always the same.
Speaking of experts, though, this was all starting to get a little too complicated for my taste.
Okay.
And so I called an expert.
Oh, you did a journalism!
I did journalism! Mark that on your bingo cards.
Bingo.
Yay! Okay, so I decided this is getting out of hand. I'm going to call my good friend and former drinking buddy for How It's Made episodes in college, Dan Condon.
What?
Dan Condon is a civil engineer. He was one of my groomsmen at my wedding, if you may remember him.
I do remember.
He's very smart. He's a lovely human being. You should listen to him when he tells you it's your bedtime. I know his kids listen, so I want to make sure I'm helping him out there.
Yeah. You know what? I think if anybody knows when it's bedtime, it's Dan. Dan knows. He's like...
Dan knows when it's bedtime.
He just knows when it's bedtime.
So I called up Dan, and I told him, I'm doing a silly thing for the podcast about the big bad wolf. Can you help me? And he goes, well, did you look into the ASCE 7 guidelines? And I'm like, yes, Dan, but I don't understand them. Please help me more. So he thinks about it for a minute, and he tells me, okay, well, basically, we can ignore a lot of it because we're simplifying a lot, right?
Sure.
For our purposes, we can basically boil the calculation down to how much force the wall of this shack is going to bear based on just multiplying the pressure by the area of the wall and the drag coefficient of the wall.
Oh.
So pressure, if we're working in meters per second, it's easy to calculate. It's just equal to 0.613 times the velocity of the wind squared. Area is width of the wall times the height of the wall. That's pretty simple. And again, because I'm not using a fancy Frank Gehry-esque building, the drag coefficient, super easy to calculate. It's just a straight, flat, rectangular wall, 90 degrees to the wind. That's a drag coefficient of 2.
Oh.
So make that as easy as possible. So if we know how much force we need to break the material that the wall is made of, we can figure out how fast the wind must blow in order to do that, right?
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. For those that don't know, Frank Gehry designed all sorts of really interesting buildings, like the ones I'm Googling right now. Didn't he do the Disney concert hall downtown L.A.?
Yes.
And then there's the museum in Bilbao.
Prado?
Sure.
I think it was him.
Okay. Maybe we're wrong. We're not. This isn't an architecture podcast. Ooh, let's be an architecture podcast. This is Architecture Podcast. I'm
You're
Trace
killing
Dominguez.
me. I'm trying to do math.
Now back to our original podcast.
So if I know how much force I need to break a material, I can figure out how fast the wind is blowing.
Yeah.
But how do I figure out how much force I'm going to need to break this material?
Is there a chart for that too? A table somewhere perhaps? That
Oh, you know there's a table.
talks about
know
tensile or different forces to break different.
Absolutely a table.
I love materials engineering for stuff like that. They're just like, no, we looked it up, we wrote it down. Now we're never gonna have to deal with it.
Now
again.
you've got it here. You need to know this? Here it is. Just come to Oklahoma State's website, which is where I found mine, that had the MOR for various types of wood. Mm-hmm. MOR stands for modulus of rupture.
Cool. Good band name.
It really is.
It's a great band name.
Modulus of rupture.
Modulus of rupture!
Yeah, it'd have to be metal, isn't it? Okay. So, I don't know if you've ever heard of, Young's modulus before.
Never.
Never? Oh. Well, moduli, are things that are inherent properties of a material, right? You don't need to know exactly how big it is or anything like that. Modulus will just tell you hey, for a given size of material, this is how much you need to break it or something. And then you can plug in the various dimensions and figure out the exact force. Young's modulus tells you how much a material can stretch. Steve Mould, who's great.
I love Steve Mould.
Yeah. You ever seen those saws that cut casts off?
Yes.
And they look really scary. They look like a spinning saw blade. And then you put them on a cast, right? And it saws right through the cast, but then it gets to your skin and it doesn't cut your skin, right? That's because the saw blade is going back and forth really quickly. It's not spinning circularly.
Okay.
And
so it's like
just
a multi-tool.
Just a quick back and forth. And so because the cast material has a high Young's modulus, it takes very little force to get it to actually deform. You can cut through it, but your skin, because you can wiggle it back and forth, right? It's got a different Young's modulus and you can't cut through it. So the modulus of rupture doesn't depend exactly on the dimensions of the wood. You can plug those in. You can figure out how much force you need to break a particular piece of wood if you know the MOR of that kind of wood.
Sure.
So for wood, the MOR ranges between 35 million to 100 million pascals, or newtons per square meter. But again, that's before we plug in the actual dimensions of whatever piece of wood we're talking about. So I'm going to assume pig number 2 used sticks from an oak tree. And oak trees have again, there's different oak trees, but they have an MOR of about 71 million pascals. I think that's a fair number.
Great.
Let's say the sticks are about half an inch thick, so 1.25 centimeters thereabouts. I'm also going to assume that the pig hut isn't very tall. They are little pigs after all.
Yeah.
So let's imagine it's, 10 feet wide, 5 feet tall. So we've got a wall that's about 50 square feet or 4.6 square meters. And I'm also going to assume it's constructed by sticking the sticks into the ground, and they go from bottom to top all the way up to the ceiling, right? So they're fairly sturdy. You got to press on them to break them. I plug these numbers in, and I find that it takes about 95 newtons to snap a single stick of oak, making up the wall of the hut. That's about 21 pounds of force.
Okay.
Which I think is reasonable, right? If I had a long stick.
If I had one stick.
That's about a half inch thick, right? And then I put 21 pounds on it. I can see that breaking. My wall's about 3 meters wide. That means it's made up of about 236 sticks. But realistically, I think we only need to break about a third of those, right?
Yeah, once you've broken some of them.
Yeah.
Once you've broken some of them,
Once you've broken
some of them, that hut's going down.
It's like a mix of Cajun and Canadian.
Yeah, it wasn't
Cajunadian.
I don't know where it came from.
Okay, so if we break about a third of those, I think either we'll collapse the hut or we've got a meter wide opening. The wolf can get inside of that.
Right.
I think that's good enough for the wolf's purposes.
Like some of the roof is going to fall in, or something's going to happen. If you put a meter hole in something that's only a couple meters wide, you've destroyed it.
The structure is compromised.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say he needs to break about 80 sticks, which would require a total of 7,500 newtons to break.
And of course, we're oversimplifying and not thinking about it.
This entire podcast is an oversimplification. If you're sitting there with your sticks right now, and you know the wolf comes tomorrow, and you're listening to us for advice, stop it.
Stop doing that. Go listen to Steve Mold,
right?
Or Grady, or
way more. Yeah, practical engineering,
because they know way more than we do.
Practical engineering for fairy tale creatures.
Honestly, a great spinoff.
Would be a great show. I really think it would. Okay, so I'm going to assume, right, that it needs about 7,500 newtons to break this number of sticks. Well, I can go back and plug all that in to the equation that Dan was telling me.
Right.
And I get a wind velocity of just 63 meters per second.
Oh.
That's about 140 miles an hour.
That's like regular hurricane amount.
Yeah, that's like a mid-tier hurricane. Well, let's see. I think that's like a category 4.
A Saffir-Simpson hurricane scale, that would be a category 4. Nailed it, dude. Catastrophic damage will occur. Well-built, framed homes can sustain severe damage with loss of most of the roof structure and some exterior walls.
Mm-hmm. So a category 4. Hurricane Wolf, Adam, to answer your question, would be a category 4. And because he asked specifically about how much energy, that's just kinetic energy, 1/2 mass times velocity squared. Now I just need to know the mass of the air in the wolf's lungs, right?
Right.
So for this, I took humans as a guide because if you can believe it, I couldn't find many charts on wolf lung capacities.
Oh, no. Somehow, honestly, I'm a little surprised, but also, like, how would you even test it?
Right, I don't even know.
You know, like, on the surface level, you're like, oh, that's weird that they wouldn't have that. And then you're like, what are you going to do? Have the wolf blow into a specific thing for a specific amount of time after taking a very deep breath? Like, that's how you would measure a human's, but...
I could see for, like, the Thompson Motif Index, them categorizing, like... wolf breaths, if they were that into it. But no, as far as I know, I couldn't find anything on wolves. But I think going by humans, that's a fair approximation. We're both mammals. We breathe in and out. We're not like birds, like the more efficient one-way breathing. We've got some dead space in our lungs, right? So tidal volume is the amount of air that comes in and out of your lungs on a typical breath. But what I'm more interested in is lung vital capacity. That's like blowing as much out. Like you take a deep breath in and you blow as much out as you can. And that's what
Right.
the wolf is doing in the story, right? For humans, typically that is about 65 milliliters per kilogram of mass.
Okay.
So if I know how big the big bad wolf is, I can figure out its lung capacity.
So what's a large wolf?
Well, I went to the largest wolf that ever walked the earth,
Oh, goody.
which thankfully is extinct, but it's the Epicylon haydeni, which apparently was about twice the size of a dire wolf, which is wolves that were known for already being quite big wolves.
Wow.
They weighed as much as 125 kilograms.
That's big.
That's quite big.
It's very big.
It's close to 300 pounds. They had a vital capacity of, that would make it, if we're going by the human's vital capacity for reference, about 8 liters.
Okay.
Maybe I'm not scaling accurately. Again, important caveat as always, we're not experts.
Idiots. Oh,
we're idiots.
Yeah, yours is nicer. Yours is a nicer way.
Yeah. Okay, so that would mean, though, if we're assuming he's at sea level, which I did earlier, that the mass of the air in the big bad wolf's lungs would be about 10 grams. That's not a lot,
No.
right? And so if he blew at 140 miles an hour, that would just be 20 joules of energy.
Which is not much.
It's not very much. Now, I think there may be some wiggle here because, these factors that the American engineers are assuming is for like a sustained wind, which is going to have a lot more mass than, say, the 10 grams.
More wind coming in behind it, yeah.
From the big bad wolf, right? So I went another way of calculating it in case the, approach using engineering standards isn't accurate. And so for the wolf to get that amount of force from its lungs, right, he would have to accelerate the air at a rate of about 750,000 meters per second squared.
Whoa!
If he reaches maximum blowing speed in half a second, which I think is also reasonable, that air is traveling 325,000 meters per second and would have a kinetic energy of 528 million joules.
This big bad wolf's like a superhero.
That's about 5 times the kinetic energy of a Boeing 737 coming in for landing. So 5 planes landing, hitting this house at the same time.
At the same time, this big bad wolf is bad.
Again, that's the other approach. I honestly think, based on these numbers, the American civil engineers approach is probably more accurate because these numbers are insane.
Yeah.
But then, of course, we have to compare it to the brick house, right?
Yes.
And so I did some digging. Brick houses typically can withstand wind speeds up to about 100 miles an hour or 161 kilometers per hour. I assume the same dimensions as the stick hut. And we're also at sea level. That means that wind at 100 miles an hour is putting a load of 5,688 newtons on the whole wall, which is less than what I needed to break the sticks.
Yeah.
Curious, right?
Interesting. Why is that?
Because we're not breaking the bricks, right? We're not factoring the more of the bricks. We're just knocking them over, and we're going by typical values to knock over a brick hut. If I've got sticks that are buried in the ground, and in order to knock them over, I have to break them, then I actually apparently can withstand more wind than a brick hut, which is, again, this important consideration from the top of my segment, which is it's also important how you build something.
Yeah, yes.
Right?
Like if it's just leaning sticks against other sticks and they're not attached to anything, you're really blowing them away. You just have to to blow them more than the mass of the sticks can withstand on their inertia or whatever.
Yeah, how much force it takes to just lift up the sticks a little bit and compromise the integrity so the whole thing crumbles.
Right. But you would think you would stick them into the corners and like you would think there would be some kind of... Mm-hmm. I mean, these are very lazy pigs.
But they built a door. That's what's driving me crazy.
And they slammed the door. So if they slammed it and it didn't knock the hut down, it must have been built to some precision.
Right.
Maybe not ASC7 standard, but...
There must be like a bolt, like some sort of closing mechanism for the door.
It has to be attached somewhere. Oh, wow.
This is... I think I've been foiled by the ambiguity of the fairy tale.
You? Never.
Which is, and we didn't even get to straw, and at first I thought, like, oh, well, straw is going to be weaker than wood, but what if it's made of cob, which is like mud infused with straw?
Then it's very strong, and then it's mostly mud.
very strong. But you're right, it is mostly mud. But also, I feel like not that difficult to make for a lazy pig.
I mean, pigs love mud.
They do. That's their whole thing.
They root around in it and they roll around in it.
Famously. Adam, where does that leave us? I don't really know. We kind of got an ambiguous answer here. If you're going by the engineering standards and the simplified math, you only need 20 joules of wind energy. If you're going a different route, which is more based on like my fundamental but, not great physics approach to it, you'd need an insane amount of energy of 528 million joules. Which
makes more sense if you're blowing something down, but that's way too much energy.
That's way too much. So, yeah, again, kinetic energy of 5 airplanes coming in for a landing. That can't be right. There's no way.
A lot.
So, yeah, I'm going to stick with the 140 mile an hour hurricane category 4 winds for Hurricane Wolf. I think that's the best I can do for you, Adam. I hope that's enough.
Wow. Thanks, Adam. Thanks for sending in that question, and thanks for the Patreon for picking that question and making Julian have to do math on the podcast again. I know we're all so happy about it. In the meantime, why don't you just go and listen to our podcast within a podcast? Architecture is fun, and we'll take a quick break and come back.
Welcome back. I hope you're all safe from winds wherever you may be, and you're not opening the windows to try and equalize pressure if you're in a tornado right now.
I hope that is true.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
Please hunker down in a basement while listening to this.
Do not open the window.
Don't open the windows. Trace, what's your question this week?
My question this week comes from Ludwig, who asks, what's the most efficient way to extract energy from a human? At first, I was wondering about the possibility of powering a spaceship through something like exercise bikes, and what the limit would be on their efficiency and effect. Then that got me thinking, could it be even more efficient to drop us in a vat of acid and use the pure heat of an exothermic reaction? Ludwig really hates working out.
Ludwig,
I'm picking up from this.
Or hates people. It's like super misanthropic. You know what? I want to shoot humans into space, but I don't want to give them the fuel to do it. You know what? Let's just dump them in acid. Seems easier.
Let's dump them in acid. It's fine. So how do you feel about this question, Julian?
So far uncomfortable about ever meeting Ludwig.
So the first thing I thought about was, of course, the 1999 classic film, The Matrix. Very on brand for me, right?
Yes.
Loved the concept, bought the soundtrack. When I walked out of the movie theater, I'm like, am I going to fly away like Neo did?
What?
I didn't, because I was a teenager and just thought about it's amazing.
Fairy tales with a morality and lessons and whatnot that most people didn't pick up on for decades until the Wachowski sisters both transitioned, which is amazing, but a conversation for a movie podcast.
Yeah, maybe like the only podcast about movies.
That'd be a good one. Yeah, there's only the one.
With our friend Matt Kroll. The thing is, turning humans into batteries, which is done in this film, The Matrix, combined with a form of fusion, they...
just hand-wavy.
Yeah, they turn it into batteries.
Humans plugged in plus fusion.
Yeah, but that's not actually a thing, right? We talked about it on the podcast, I think, briefly before, and we will also talk about it briefly right now, and that's a no. Humans don't run on electricity. We run on electrical charges, but it's really more like ions moving around. It's not like the electricity in your walls in the same way. It's a slightly different way to think about electricity, and we can measure it with EEGs, but we're measuring waves of charges moving around, not like a circuit through the brain like in your wall. Mm-hmm. So matrixing is out. So we're not good batteries.
They also talk about how we're giving off heat, I think, in the movie.
Yes, and
right?
BTUs of body heat. For some reason, they're using the British thermal unit, which is fun. But most commonly, we talk about heat as it pertains to generating electricity. We're thinking of turning turbines. This is one of my favorite things that I have learned since I started doing this job 15 years ago, and that is all energy that we use in our homes, almost all of it, is just somebody figured out how to turn a turbine real good. That's it.
A lot of it's just steam eventually.
It's just steam,
right? Yeah. Different forms of steam. Coal,
steam. Gas.
Nuclear, steam.
Nuclear.
Gas, steam.
Steam.
You're just boiling water.
Yes.
Making it go through a turbine and then condensing it again and then heating it up all over again and just doing that over and over
and over again.
And that's
or
most
you
of
just
your electricity.
Cut out the middleman and you're like, we just put a windmill on a mountain.
Yeah.
Or we just put a dam and ran water through it. But both
Yes.
of the times you're still turning a turbine, you're just using air or water to do it for you.
Yep.
So all of that is how we generate electricity. So the SI unit of energy is
Joules.
the joule. So
Yeah.
1 joule is equal to the work done by a 1 Newton force acting over a 1 meter distance, which Julian also talked about.
Right.
So putting it another way, I have some perspective putting here. Pulling the tab on a soda can, that's about 1 joule of work.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
20 of those and you can knock down a pig hut, apparently.
Blinking a 1 watt LED light bulb for 1 second, like a LED for ambiance, or like a very small flashlight, that's like 80 lumens. That would be 1 joule. Very small amount of energy. So Ludwig specifically mentioned bikes. So I wanted to dig into that because there is this incredible chart in Scientific American that let me put here in our chat and we will share this as well.
The pyramid in front of the Louvre was designed by I.M. Pei. And it's famously kind of this
You're not talking close enough to the mic.
Sorry, you're right. I'm not in it. I got to get in it for good architecture pod.
Yeah, for architecture is fun.
Okay. He was a Chinese-American architect born in Guangzhou to a Chinese family. He got his inspiration from the garden villas at Suzhou. He graduated from MIT and then enrolled in the Harvard Graduate School of Design, where he befriended faculty members Walter Gropius and Marcel Breuer.
No,
both
that's an
of whom
unfortunate name.
had formerly taught at the Bauhaus. That was our segment on I.M. Pei.
So in 1973, Scientific American published this chart, and it was updated again in October of 2025. And again, we'll put it on our Instagram for you. The y-axis is the cost of transportation, which is calories per gram per kilometer. And the x-axis is the body mass in kilograms on a logarithmic scale. So,
okay.
Julian, can you describe the blobs that we're seeing here and maybe some of the things in those blobs?
Right. It's kind of like a beautiful abstract art painting, but you've got some different colors in different sections of the graph. There's like a big swath of turquoise and a magenta and a purple and a yellow, and each of those represents whether the things in it are flyers for turquoise or purple for swimmers, walkers/runners for magenta, vehicles for yellow. And then there are dots in each little section. For a flyer, we've got like a pigeon, and that's kind of towards the middle of the chart. That's
right.
Sort of the center of it.
It's in the heavier body weight for the flyers.
Yeah.
But it's still quite efficient.
More efficient, yeah.
Right.
And then for the swimmers, we've got a salmon, and that is less heavy but more efficient than our pigeon. Up for the walkers and runners, we've got, mice are really inefficient.
Movers, I know. Isn't that strange?
Yeah, like a lot of energy for a tiny body weight. Rats are like more efficient. They're heavier and use less energy. Humans, fairly efficient for our weight, unless we're on a bicycle, in which case we are about the same weight, but incredibly efficient.
Yes. Basically, according to this chart, you can look at all of these different things, including technological things like a helicopter or a jet. I'm surprised you didn't take this opportunity to mention airplanes, actually. I'm not even going to keep talking about it.
That's...
We're just moving on.
I can talk about airplanes if you want.
No, we don't.
I'm actually stunned that the helicopter's less efficient than the jet.
I mean, the jet can at least, coast, I guess. I'm not actually sure.
Yeah, it's true.
That. But anyway, these blobs they just use some dots within the blobs to give you an idea of what's there. I was actually surprised and then immediately not surprised that the lightest thing on the chart that's listed and one of the least efficient things on the chart as listed is the fruit fly, which is because insects are really flying out of brute force, if you know anything about insects, which is really Cool. But the most efficient thing of all the stuff on this chart is the human on a bicycle. Actually, there is something slightly more efficient, and that is a human on a velomobile, which is an aerodynamic bicycle.
I had to look it up.
Yeah.
They're so silly looking.
They're silly. They're a bicycle pedaled by a person with an aerodynamic, like fiberglass or plastic skin over it.
Yeah.
To make it more, to reduce drag. And
I want one.
They're very cool. We'll talk a little bit more about them in a minute. But the bicycle as a spacecraft powering device would be one of the best ways for us to extract energy from people, right? This is an extremely efficient way to get energy out of us. Thermal energy generated during a chemical reaction that power a muscle contraction, along with the friction in your joints and other tissues. We are less efficient than some things. Like we're only about 25% efficient when it comes to like energy in, energy out. EVs are like 87% efficient. Gasoline vehicles are like 12% efficient. It's not a judgment as much as it is just like how we take our energy and how we use it. Electricity in, electricity out, you have less loss for some of the things. Whereas like a gas vehicle, you're mostly losing it in heat. And with
a lot of heat.
Humans, we're also making heat to keep ourselves warm and thus alive. So if you're not counting that in your output, then you would reduce your efficiency. But if we don't do that, we die. So, it's a complicated thing. So human on the bicycle, again, one of the most efficient things we can do. World record for a human on a velomobile. Any guesses how fast? I'm going to give you a hint. It is faster than highway speed.
Okay. So 66 miles an hour, which I would never dream of going.
On a bicycle? Yeah.
No, on the highway, I mean.
Oh, yeah. On any motorized vehicle.
Yeah, on any sort of motorized bicycle. Certainly not over 65.
A cop listening to this while you're driving?
Yeah, I don't know. What if they're trying to get me? People have been brought down for less.
So our favorite source, the Guinness Book of World Records, which is just a great source made by a drinks company. That's how you know it's accurate. 144 kilometers per hour, or roughly 89.6, or about almost 90 miles an hour.
That's really good. Have you considered, right? So the velomobile is more efficient than the bike because of that aerodynamic shell, right?
Right. Yes.
And that's because air resistance, like drag, is a function of velocity squared, right? So the faster you go, like air resistance shoots up a lot more just for every little increase in
so
speed.
Just hitting more air as you move through it. Yeah.
But if we're on like a stationary bike in space, right?
I like where you're going. I like what you're thinking.
There's no air resistance, so
it's more efficient.
You're even more efficient than a velomobile.
That's right. Don't worry. I've done some more math here. It's gonna be fun.
Oh boy.
So this record was set in 2016 by a company who makes velomobiles. The founder Todd Reichert. He was inside an Aerovelo, which is an aerodynamic velomobile. But that's not the land speed record of a bicycle.
Really?
Do you know what the land speed record of a bicycle is? Now knowing that is the world record for a human on a velomobile.
I just want to stop and say, have you looked up what the Aerovelo looks like?
Is it the one where he's kind of laying on his back and pedaling while laying down? Because that's
it looks like a tailless sperm.
Yeah, it does. Yes.
Yes. Just wanted to say.
It sure does.
It's kind of silly.
It is very silly.
I don't know if you're going to make any friends pulling up at the bike meet.
Be like, what's up, fellow bikers?
So efficient. What up, my fellow velos?
And they're like, get the eggs out of here. Get the eggs out of here.
Boy, fastest on a bicycle ever, though?
Yeah, it's like the current land speed record set by Denise Müller-Korneck. Denise
Not
Müller-Korneck.
Wile E. Coyote chasing that Roadrunner?
I mean, that wouldn't be on a bicycle. Yeah, maybe. That counts. I don't know. Any guesses? You want me just to go for it?
Okay, so the Velo is 140 something?
Kilometers, yeah.
Okay,
144.
kph. I'll do 170.
More.
190.
More.
Not over 200.
More.
Come on. 220.
More.
240.
More.
I was going to say 240 initially, and I thought that was going to be too high, and I was going to spoil your fun.
Still low.
280.
More.
More than double the velomobile.
Yeah.
What? Who's
200
writing this thing?
Denise Muller-Kornick, I just told you.
The freaking the thigh master? The actual not like the exercise product.
One.
I mean the supervillain known as the thigh master. Just a man with insane thighs.
It's 296 kilometers per hour.
How many?
184 miles per hour, 296 kilometers per hour. And they cheated a little bit. In my mind, they cheated a little bit. The gearing on the bike is so strong that in order to accelerate to that speed, she had to be towed to start. So she was towed by a drag race car and pedaled. She was towed to, I kid you not, 100 miles an hour. And then, still though, increased from 100 to 183.9 by pedaling.
Okay, that's impressive, but yeah.
And kept up with the race car so that she was in its slipstream.
Yep.
Anyway, the previous record holder who did that kind of thing was in 1995. They reached 167 miles an hour, 268 kilometers per hour. Either way, to power a rocket with bikes, we would need to know how much power we can get from bikes. And I only bring up those two things to show that the gearing also matters, right? It's not just that you all have fixies and it's just like one gear and you just pedal. So ignoring the difficulty of getting to space, we're trying to power a rocket ship. Let's say we're in space. We're inside the space shuttle. The space shuttle, famously, large cargo area. So we want to move around inside the space shuttle. We want to put in as many exercise bikes as we can. So I did a little bit of searching around and I made this diagram. Let me share my screen with you. Hold, please. And here you go. What are you looking at here?
Well, it's a diagram of a space shuttle.
And then in the cargo bay of the space shuttle.
In the cargo bay, yeah, importantly, there are pears? Are those little pears icons?
I like that you said it with such question mark. Pears?
Pear emoji?
Okay, so the reason I used pears.
Does that represent a pair of wheels? Is that your thinking? For a bicycle?
No. If you think about it, okay. The space shuttle's cargo bay is 18 meters by 4.6 meters. So if we filled it with, say, one of the more efficient stationary bikes, the Sports Art EcoPower, an Australian company, designed to capture energy from the workout to power energy grids. Literally, while working out in a gym with these things in Australia, you can generate, each bike can generate, they say like, I don't remember, 200 watts or something, that they put back into the grid. Like that's the point of the bicycle, which I thought was kind of funny. So anyway, hundreds of watts per hour. So we're going to take one of these, because I needed to pick a bike. So I picked a bike. And now the reason it's pear-shaped is because the back of the bike is where the bulk of your body is, and the front of the bike is just your head and your arms. So if you're pedaling on a stationary bike, you really need more room at the back than the front. So I just arranged a bunch of pear shapes into here based on the footprint of this bike with a little extra so that you can, you're not literally pedaling and touching somebody.
Okay,
so
I see the logic now.
Thank you.
It seemed utterly insane at first, but now that I know...
that it's only a little insane.
That it's just a little...
So we can get, based on this, about 42 bikes into this cargo bay. And again, now that we're not worrying about air resistance.
21 pairs of bikes.
Or 21 pairs of bikes. And they can arrange them in rows facing each other. And then this, of course, doesn't take into account the fact that there's not that much floor space in the cargo bay and other pieces of equipment and tie downs and all of that. And you'd be able to attach it to the shuttle. So we're making a lot of assumptions, aside from the fact that somehow you would get 40 people onto the space shuttle and launch it. It can lift that much. Like, it's not about the lift. It's more about finding space for 42 people plus, whatever. So Cycling Analytics has a nice write-up about the functional threshold power of people who are pedaling on their bikes. They hook them up to things and learn about their power output as a way to measure the ability of them to work out better next time. So the nominal power output that can be sustained for an hour for most people, 49% of people, are 260 watts or less in an hour. Okay? So 260 watts over an hour is about 936 kilojoules.
Okay.
So 936,000 joules. And that's for the average person. It's either that or less. A fit person, which would definitely be sent on a rocket, they would do better. So in an hour, a fit person could maybe do, say, 350 watts, or about 1,200 and some kilojoules, or about 1.26 megajoules. So we're just going to plug these into a magic battery, because capturing energy is a complex system that we've already discussed is very hard to do. Even fusion power, they're like, so do we just put heat blankets and boil some water? And it's like, you're creating the power of the sun, but you're still just going to boil some water.
God, end up where we were in the 1800s, though, still.
So we've got our 1.26 megajoules per person, by the way. So we have 42 bikes pedaling hard for an hour, and we're putting all of that energy into a quote-unquote magic battery that can store it perfectly. We have no loss from that. We're going to use all of it. That's about 53 megajoules, which is actually a lot. Like, that's a lot, right?
Yeah. So it's got mega in it. That sounds like a lot.
Yeah. So the RCS thruster, the reactor control system of the thruster on the space shuttle, has a maximum thrust of about 3,870 newtons. So if you took all the energy that you had for a whole hour, you put it into the magic battery, and then somehow expressed it through the RCS thruster system, which is not how it works, but let's say you could.
Sure.
You'd get about 386 newtons of force over a 100-second RCS burn. Max burn for primary RCS, about 150 seconds. That's about 10% of the RCS capacity, which is enough for an orbital maneuver. You could move a space shuttle with 42 people on bikes.
Pedaling around.
A lot of things.
Kind of shocked, honestly.
I was too.
Kind of
shocked.
So
I quadruple checked my math, and it seems like this is correct. Converting it to a non-shuttle frame of reference, though. Because remember, we're in space.
Right.
We're in space.
I do remember that part.
So 53 megajoules is about 14.7 kilowatt hours, the equivalent of 1.5 liters of gasoline.
Oh.
So we just took 42 people, made them pedal hard for an hour, and we got the equivalent of a half gallon, not even, of gasoline. And this is one of the most efficient ways that we know of to get energy out of a human.
Yeah.
My EV on this amount of energy could go 38 miles. And they are very efficient driving systems, and mine is less efficient than some.
Did you look into the math on how much food we would have to feed the people in order to
I didn't
to replenish
but
their
I thought
calories?
about that. Because if you think about us as 25% efficient, we're looking at, a lot of calories, like a lot of kilocalories. I could look it up if you want. 53 megajoules to kilocalories is a conversion we could do. That's about 12,600 kilocalories of energy total for all of them. So 12,000 calories isn't that much, but if you think about it as like how much efficiency we would have, so you multiply that by 4 roughly, and then divide it by the 42 people. So you're looking at like not that much food. I mean, like a day of food. This is something that normal people can actually do.
To accomplish what you could do with, like, I don't know, 2 pounds of fuel?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Right.
In a spacecraft where, as we talk about all the time, every kilogram you launch into space makes it so much harder.
Yes. Which is why I said we're already in space, you guys. We're already there.
We started
We're
there.
just trying to
took
move
the space elevator
We're trying to move.
We cheated.
A space shuttle.
We had a dragster with a little shed on the back that the space shuttle followed behind.
Yes. Yep, and Denise was pedaling.
Well,
She's doing a great job.
42 Denises were back there.
It does feel like we cheated a little. You're
masters.
Right. It does feel like I cheated a little on that one. I was just excited that we could move the space shuttle as people.
That is still
cool.
astounding to consider.
Yeah.
Right? Again, going back to my segment of engineering's more complicated than just like, oh, you have this, therefore that, right? It's like how you use it and a lot of considerations that go into it. And so obviously no engineer's going to be like, what if we put bikes up there and send 42 people and enough food to feed? Like, obviously that's out of the question, right? Like, they'd be like, how'd that guy get in here at the important NASA design meeting? Get that guy out of here.
At NASCON, the NASA convention.
Yeah.
So then I thought, okay, can we do better? The human body doesn't contain any nuclear material that we could use, unfortunately. I mean, if you eat a banana, I guess. A textbook, Chemistry, The Practical Science, by Kelter, Mosher, and Scott, wrote, quote, typical banana has approximately 300 milligrams of potassium. Therefore, each banana, we ingest approximately 0.036 milligrams of radioactive potassium-40. And bananas do usually have more than that, Kelter, Mosher, and Scott. Either way, milligrams of potassium is we're not going to be able to power anything nuclear.
I mean, it's not undergoing like fission though.
Right. There's no fissile material in our bodies.
It's decaying and releasing a little bit of energy as like a gamma ray or something.
Exactly. We just get regular nuclear decay. So unless we somehow put us into pods and convert our body heat plus a form of fusion, hand wavy matrix stuff, we're not going to be doing any nuclear material. But then I thought, what if we just take out the middle person? Take them out of there. We're not biking. We just want to generate heat from humans to turn a turbine. And so we want to burn a human.
Don't like that.
We're going to burn one.
Don't love it.
Firstly, humans aren't easy to burn. We're very wet.
Oh, okay.
As a thing, we're quite wet. 70% wet. And so that's quite wet. Also, skeletons exist, which don't burn good. Crematoriums can take 2 to 3 hours to destroy a body, and they have to burn it at like 1,000 or 1,100 Celsius, 2,000 Fahrenheit. And it's not actually ashes in your urn, by the way. We call them ashes, but they're just bone fragments because you have to pulverize and grind up the bones. We've talked about this on the show before, right? So what you're getting is like ground up bones, which is metal AF. Crematorium is definitely the most metal way to dispose of a human being. But if you wanted to burn a person and do it like as a fuel, first you would have to desiccate it. Which is a very 3-body problem, I thought. So you desiccate it and remove the skeleton. Okay. So you just end up with the mass of the human.
You get human jerky, is what you're saying.
You get human jerky, yeah. Teriyaki flavor.
Human. That's how I want to go.
That's how you want to go.
I want to be dehydrated, deboned, dipped in teriyaki sauce, and left to cure.
And then given to the lions.
Good for them. They deserve it.
We are 70% water and 14% skeleton, roughly. So a 70-kilogram person, you'd end up with about 11 kilograms of neither water nor skeleton. That's not a lot as kilograms go. So what would be left is mostly protein and fat mass. Carbs and stuff too, I guess, but we're just going proteins and fats. So not a lot of study about desiccated human remains as a form of energy out there, surprisingly.
You don't say. That's a recurring problem with this show.
However, the USDA does publish numbers on how much energy are in each gram of protein and fat. So let's assume we're 70-30 protein to fat in this pile of 11-kilogram human. Their numbers don't include it having been desiccated. They probably include water, but again, we're going to hand wave a little bit here. So you end up with about 70% protein. Protein's about 4 calories per gram, so you get about 129 megajoules of energy out of that. And then the fat is about 9 calories per gram, so you end up with another 124 megajoules. So you get about 253 megajoules, which is 60,500 kilocalories, which is actually kind of a lot. Like, that seems like more than I thought we were going to get, which is way more than all our biking astronauts would get. And if you multiply that by 42, you get 2.54 million kilocalories, which is quite a lot. 10,632 megajoules, 200 times more energy than the biking astronauts. Assuming, again, we capture every bit of that energy, which we can't do.
So I am now picturing a scenario where, like, a space shuttle
it's very
with 42
evil.
Cyclists
It's very evil.
has run out of food to feed them.
Right.
And they need to make an important orbital maneuver. They're like, listen, thank you for your service, but the magic battery needs your flesh.
We need you. We need your flesh.
We need your flesh. I mean, we could have been directly feeding the food to the magic battery instead of the people. But anyway, it's too late for that now.
Would have been more efficient.
Would have been, yeah.
We can't do that now. So which Denise is going to go first? Sorry, Denise. There are 42 Denises. Which Denise?
Denise, they all draw lots.
Is this just the plot of Mickey 17? Yeah, the Robert Pattinson film.
Denise 42.
Denise 42. So I did say it's 200 times more energy, but then I decided to put it back into the RCS system. So it's funny that you mentioned that, because that is where I put it in for perspective. You could move the shuttle very easily. Like, assuming a 20% efficiency rate, it's still 40 times more maneuverability. You could do dozens of maneuvers, no problem.
Tossing the bones over the side.
Right.
Like,
throw a femur and the shuttle moves.
There's that too. Yeah, we're not considering that. We could, once we dehydrate and burn Denise.
We made a lot of assumptions.
This is dark.
It's very dark. It's not me, it's Ludwig, okay? Ludwig has a question. Imagine the movie Gravity, but instead of the Kessler effect, it's a bunch of femurs flying through space.
No.
Honestly, the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack, on that, I'm in. I'll watch that
legendary.
film. I would go see it.
Or like Jack Sparrow trying to escape.
Yeah.
Like the...
Oh, I would go see this. This is a great film. I'm ready.
Davy Jones's army, and he's throwing like the bones to make the black pearl that's in space go faster.
Honestly, yes.
I would see a dark space pirate movie.
Why don't we need more of these? We need more. So the most disappointing thing is clearly that it would be 40 times the energy just to burn up all the astronauts. But if you wanted to not burn up the astronauts, you just have to have them cycle for 8 days in a row. Easy. So to answer Ludwig's question, the most efficient way to extract energy from a human that is alive is to put them on a bicycle. The most efficient way to extract energy from somebody otherwise, probably not dip them in a vat of acid. You're not going to get a lot of energy. Most of it's going to go into the acid. But if you want to extract it, desiccate them and then burn their remains, which is pretty awful.
Sure seems like it.
So the most efficient way to extract energy from a living human is on a bicycle. So get a bike.
That's a nice happy note to end on. That's nice. Yeah.
Congratulations to the 4% of our listeners who are Dutch. You already know this. You didn't learn anything from this segment.
Way to go. Then where's the Dutch space program at, huh? I ask you.
They were trying to power it with bicycles. They haven't yet got off the ground.
This is going to work.
Is that your Dutch accent?
That's my Dutch accent. Couldn't you tell?
It.
Thank you.
I liked it. I knew immediately what it was.
We will get to space with just some more bicycles. I have no idea.
Why do Dutch people have lisps? I
don't
know
idea why. I've been to Amsterdam. I don't know. I have no recollection of what the accent sounded like.
Well, you've done it. You've reached the end of another episode.
And we've lost the Dutch audience.
Thank you for listening to yet another episode of That's Absurd, Please Elaborate. I hope we didn't offend you, but if we did, I'm very sorry.
I'm sorry. I also hope you're not taking our advice on how to build a wood hut to withstand winds. I hope I hope you don't take a lot of things away from this podcast, is what I'm getting at.
Yes, very true. Entertainment, but not advice. I think that describes our podcast pretty well. This show was created and written and produced by Julian Huguet.
And Trace Dominguez.
It was also produced and edited by the biggest, baddest wolf, Kyle Sisk.
Oh, yeah. Associate produced by our junior wolf, Sabrina Capella.
Our music is thanks to Epidemic Sound, and our intern is Charlie Woodbury. I don't know what kind of wolf he is, but he's doing great. Thanks to the listeners who submitted questions featured in this episode, Adam and Ludwig. If you want to submit a question, go down into the show notes and look for the form. You can email us at hello@that'sabsurdshow.com, visit our website, that'sabsurdshow.com/ask, and call us on the phone, 302-TAPE-SHOW, TAPESHO. We could not do this show without your questions. So please send us more questions. We love reading them. We love how your brains work, and your questions are amazing. Without your questions, we could not do this show. So please send us the weird, strange thoughts that you have, and maybe we will make everyone sad by looking into the answer.
And offend the Dutch. Thank you to our patrons over on Patreon who, as we mentioned, picked Adam's question this week. You get to vote on questions if you are a Patreon subscriber. We thank you for that. Also, thanks to our absurd administrators, Adam, yes, the Adam whose question we just picked, Les, Austin, Jonathan, Dan, yes, Dan who helped me answer the question, Sabrina, the Brain, Hannah, Pinky, Apothecarian, and Christina, Sabrina's mom.
Yeah,
We got another mom. We're getting all the moms on board.
We're getting the moms.
Getting all the moms.
Love it. Happy anniversary to some of our ridiculous researchers and absurd administrators as well, Ashley and Shane. Thank you so much for maintaining your subscriptions for this long. We're so happy that you were able to do that. Thank you.
And thanks to our newest Patreon subscribers, John, Christina, Puchu, Cal, and Apothecarian. Hi, post-production Julian jumping in here right before we upload because I forgot that we need to congratulate our bingo winners this week, and there are quite a few. So congrats to our patrons who managed to actually complete bingo. Again, I'm not checking very carefully. I'm assuming that you're all, above board on these things when you get our congratulations. It's the honor system here, people. Congrats to Tom, Tangle, Laura, Tessa, Emil, who apparently lost their last bingo card, so they have a new one, and they managed to get bingo on it. So smart move there. And Adam, yes, the same Adam whose question was selected actually got treble bingo. So I don't even know. That's amazing. There's only 3 squares he didn't check. That's incredible. Congrats, Adam. You're the biggest winner of all this episode. Way to go.
If you want to join the Patreon, it's easy. Also down in the show notes, patreon.com/that'sabsurdshow. We really appreciate every patron who has joined us so far. And if you want to give us a little bit of support, that is the best way to do it. But another way you can do it is to go listen to this show on Nebula. All you have to do is go to go.nebula.tv/that'sabsurdshow and join. By joining, you're going to support the show. And then if you listen to the show on Nebula, you support the show as well. But that's not all you get. You get all sorts of original programming. The creators that you love from YouTube are there. Many of those knowledge thinky creators and new ones join every single week. So we're getting new people in the network and you can watch their videos. And just by watching them the same way you would on YouTube or anywhere else, you support them and give them just a little bit of watch time money, which is awesome. So thank you very much to everyone listening on Nebula. So, as we say at the end of every episode of our show, our catchphrase,
we have ways of dealing with people who don't pedal hard enough.
What?
That's the director of the Dutch space program. Master.
The 4% of our listeners who are Dutch are not going to tune in next week. So thanks for listening.
Already.
Thanks for being listeners, I guess.
It was really nice having you. You're so
great.
Delightful.
Dank u, as they say in Dutch.
There's no way.
That's what it is, I swear.
It's dankjewel.
I thought it was Danku. Yeah, Danku wel.
Dankjewel.
Yeah, or Danku.
Who's Don Cuvel?
Danku. Again, I feel like we're apologizing more the more episodes we do. We're sorry.
Wait, Google says it's badonked. Do you think they were really confused when the slang badonkadonk started going around?
They were like, Danku too.
She's got a good thank you.
She's got a thank you.
Okay, anyway.
On that note, thank you for listening. We will see you next week with another episode of our show.
Badonkadonk.